The NFL season kicked off in thrilling fashion last night as the defending champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers edged out the Dallas Cowboys 31 to 29. I thought it was an even better game than I expected. I was more high on the Cowboys coming into the game than a lot of people. I thought they'd hang, but not. I didn't think it would be as close of a game as it was, 31-29, coming down to the final minute. Tom Brady with a great game-winning drive leading to the Ryan Suckup field goal for the win. And I was really impressed with both teams. And as a Packers fan, it's a very concerning outcome because Tampa looks much better than last year. I mean, and it's kind of logical. Tom Brady, it was his first year in Bruce Arians' offense. Guys like Gronk and especially Antonio Brown came in late in the season, and even guys like Godwin, Fournette as well was a late addition. Godwin and Evans still had to develop that chemistry. The Tampa offense looks much better than last year. Last year, if you remember the beginning of the season, Tampa had an iffy start to the year. Like, they were still winning most of their games, but the offense at times wasn't on the same page. But now it looks unstoppable. Antonio Brown, I don't want to say he's necessarily back to being the old Antonio Brown, but it certainly looks like he's about to have a second phase of his career where he's still one of the best receivers in the league. Now that he's had a full off season, no drama. I mean, think about it. You haven't talked about Antonio Brown much in recent months at all, except for maybe in your fantasy football draft. And, this might come across as a disrespectful comparison, but I think it warrants it after Antonio Brown's actions during his time with the Raiders and the Patriots. I would compare this weird relationship Brady and Antonio Brown kind of have to Michael Jordan, what he was able to do for Dennis Rodman at that point of Dennis Rodman's career. Even got a guy like Greg Popovich didn't want Dennis Rodman. He shipped him off to Chicago. Similar outcome here with Antonio Brown. I mean, last 125 yards, 5 catches, I believe the stat line was. He looks back to normal for the most part. And those 3 receivers, a lot of people are saying Dallas's receiving core was going to be the best in the league. But if Antonio Brown's back to being a Pro Bowl level guy, I think Tampa has the clear best receiving core in the league. And throwing Gronk, who, he's not the old Gronk, similar to Antonio Brown. It's not the old Antonio Brown. But Gronk still looks like he could be a top 10 tight end. He looks healthier than he's been in a long time, and he was really effective last night. The defense for Tampa is still really good. That front seven didn't really get an opportunity to show out that much because the Cowboys simply didn't run that much. They kind of avoided that front seven, and everyone knows the secondary of this team, even though it's still solid, is the weak point for the Tampa defense. And as for Dallas, I was really encouraged with their team. I mean, we knew they were going to have a good offense, but CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper looked fantastic. Michael Gallup showed up when he needed to. And Dak Prescott, while he did look a little bit slower when it came to the time for him to maybe scramble out of the pocket, but as a passer, behind that offensive line, he looked just as good as he was last year. And as for Ezekiel Elliott, I mean, he definitely was disappointing. He looked slow. Even though he lost weight, he kind of looked not out of shape, but simply, he looked gassed, but at the same time, I think once the Cowboys play teams with worse defensive lines to go against, he'll get more opportunities to build a rhythm back up. It's only the opener. The only concern I would really have for the Cowboys, who, in my opinion, looked like they could really be a contender to make the playoffs in the NFC this year, even if they aren't really a Super Bowl contender. They're certainly going to be in that playoff mix. Mike McCarthy, his final year in Green Bay, I'm a huge Packers fan. The issue was he took no risks. Like, I remember the one Seattle game, for example, he cost us that game. But now he's taking too many risks, and he did it last year too as well. But tonight, some of those kicks, when he knew he had a banged-up kicker in Zerline who missed his first 2 kicks, not going for it on 4th and 3 when he had an unstoppable pass game going, I just thought it was weird decisions from McCarthy, and hopefully he'll be able to fix that as the season goes along, because Dallas is going to need it, because that defense it's still not great. They're going to need the offense to carry the team, and I think that certainly has the possibility to do so. They're just going to need to not make silly mistakes like they did at times during this game. But overall, I think both these teams look like they're the Buccaneers are certainly a Super Bowl contender once again, and the Cowboys certainly have a chance to compete for the NFC East title and maybe even make it as the 6th or 7th wild card if the Washington football team takes that division. But I thought this was a great game to kick off the start of the 2021 season.